processes here in Nigeria is usually tedious. If you don't really know someone in there, that's number one. Number two, if you don't really know the ropes. And then number three is if you don't have money. Because like a lot of times when you go there, the officers usually, the people, the workers, the administrators, they could usually just do it, without, putting you through long process. But because they want to get money from you, right? So they'll let you go 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and then they'll give all these other agents the opportunity to be scamming people with that sea of whole thing.
Nigeria here actually is not easy to get that because it involves a lot of processes. Moving from AGs, FCDA to get this, to get that. In fact, you need to even in form of bribing or to see some officials before that certificate can come out.
CFO certificate of occupancy. I really think it's not very easy to get it, even when you are acquiring a legit property. Nigeria, due to a kind of high level of fraud, and the process of acquiring it is very hectic and very tedious.
Voices on the street there. Nigerians explaining the cumbersome procedures in obtaining the certificate of occupancy. We do hope the relevant agencies are watching and will do the needful to make the process of obtaining CFO less cumbersome. Coming up next, Dr. Abiodun Adedipe, the founder of BAA Consult, will be enlightening us on the effect of the tax reform bill on the real estate sector. These 4 executive bills are currently before the National Assembly.
What are the implications of the reforms for real estate stakeholders? That's the way I put it. And identify the stakeholders in 3 categories. The first category, real estate brokers, and of course, I did take into account here developers, because for developers, they are basically in business. So all basic, rules relating to corporate income tax, we apply to them. And of course, the provisions of withholding tax deductions and the rest of them. Now, so that's why where I have brokers will apply to anybody within the build space who is doing business as registered business. Number one, just 3 things I pull out there. Number one is that withholding tax deductions and remittance are now gazetted with applicable rates. It's an official gazette issued, Gazette number 168, volume 111 of 2nd of October 2024. So the rates are already gazetted, all right? But there's also a provision in the reforms that now talks about payment of capital gains tax should be made within the 10th day of the succeeding month. And why I pick this out is because somebody bought a property for, let's say, 25 million, just for the sake of compensation. Then, in terms of expenses, let's say about 7.5 million to renovate it. That brings the cost to 32.5 million. We now put it in the market and sold it for 45 million. Now, that's a 12.5 million difference between the cost of acquisition, the cost of renovation, which came to, 32.5 million, and now the sale price of 45 million. So the difference between them is 12.5 million. That 12.5 million will be capital gains tax. That's the way it is done traditionally anyway. But what this reform now says is that when that happens, the capital gains tax on that transaction should be paid not later than the 10th day of November, assuming the transaction was done in October. That means between 1st and 10th of November,